If you're doing the easy thing now, what are the odds the easy thing is the right thing? If you're doing the hard thing now, that most likely means it's creating some sort of success, fulfillment, results in the future, but you have to believe that.
Sometimes the hard thing is the right thing. Sometimes the hard thing is the most optimal thing. And honestly, almost always.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. It was episode number 1202, the 4 types of relationships you need to know. And need is all capitals. So that's how important it is. Today, for episode number 1203, happy Sunday. Sometimes the right thing and the hard thing are the same thing. That is a quote that I used to say, oh man, Alan, when you and I were podcasting in your sister's old bedroom, that was like one of my things. I would say that all the time. And we used to do a lot of episodes around that. And we used to do a lot of Growing Pains episodes as well. But the best thing I can connect that to, for most people, is relationships. And I know we've been talking a lot about relationships lately, but when we were talking about my past on episode number 1200, the one thing you need to know about being alone, it made me think of something that you and we had a lot of conversation around this. So before I reconnected with Taryn, I was in a situationship, as I call it, because for me, it wasn't really a relationship. For the other person, I think they were more serious about it than I was, and they ended up catching feelings, and it was this whole thing. But I ended up having a conversation with this person. I said, hey, look, I don't want to lead you on. I mean, I don't think I'm leading you on. I've been very honest, but I don't want this to continue the way it's going, because I know you're going to end up very hurt. And I'm going to look like a terrible person, and I'm going to feel really bad, and I'm going to feel really guilty, and you're going to hate me. Like, that is going to happen if we keep hanging out. So we kind of like broke up. And then this person said, hey, I still want to spend time together and, be physical. And I was like, all right, this is a recipe for disaster. But going back to that original episode, I was so afraid to be alone. Here I am, an entrepreneur trying to figure it out. I have very little going on in the way of success, right? Like we didn't have much going on. I was just looking to grab onto railings. I was looking to grab onto certainty. I was looking to get some of my basic human needs met. And I kept prolonging this, and I kept prolonging it, and I would hang out with this person, and you and I kept talking about it. And I think it just got to the point where we had a real talk, and we got to the point where it was like, look, I have to tell this person I can't do this anymore. I know it's going to suck, and I know it's going to be hard for me. I know it's going to be hard for them. They're probably not going to like me very much, but I do believe at a deep level that the hard thing and the right thing are usually the same thing. So I ended up sending this person a message, and I think I went and saw them, and I kind of broke it off there. I got a not so nice message in return that Alan also, F you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. But I felt really good after, because I knew I did the right thing, even though it sucked. Even though it sucked, I knew I did the right thing. And this is the beautiful part of it. Eventually that person messaged me down the road and wished me nothing but good luck and love, which is great. I don't think that person would have done that if I didn't do the right thing, because we both knew it was the right thing. We did. We knew it was the right thing to do what ended up happening. And I just think sometimes it sucks, but you have to have the belief, and this is the important part. You have to have the belief that what you're doing is the right thing, even though it's the hard thing. And I'll steal a little thing that Alan said before we got on the mics. He said Lori Harder posted something the other day that was impactful. I hope you weren't going to use this, but
No.
He said she posted a video that said, if you are doing the easy thing now, your future is going to be hard. But if you're doing the hard thing now, your future is going to be easy. And in most situations, that's very, very true. But that goes to this, right? If you're doing the easy thing now, what are the odds the easy thing is the right thing? If you're doing the hard thing now, that most likely means it's creating some sort of success, fulfillment, results in the future. But you have to believe that. You have to believe that at a deep level. And I do believe, and think of it this way, if I didn't break off that relationship, which then became a situationship, if I didn't break that off, would I have ever reached out to Taryn? It wouldn't have happened. It couldn't have happened in the same way it did, because things would have been shifted, right? So the whole butterfly effect. So yeah, that's this episode. Go ahead, Jeff.
The butterfly effect, the ripple of one choice rippling into the rest of your life. For those of you who don't know, the butterfly effect is a butterfly flaps its wings in New York City and there's a tsunami somewhere else in the world. That kind of thing.
I saw the movie.
Choice.
Saw the movie with Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. So, as did I. That was a powerful movie.
I don't remember.
Powerful movie. Powerful concept. Dark thriller. Very traumatic childhoods in that movie. So trigger alert is what we'll call that. So the butterfly effect is you make a choice now. You do the right thing now. And your future self will thank you. Or you make the wrong choice now. I like to say the non-optimal choice now. And then your future self will have regret. And I do believe that that is the way that it works. I think that I also want to... So every Monday, Kevin and I do a check-in. We've actually started doing it on the chief officers meeting. Myself, Kevin, and Christina. COO, CFO, CEO. Let's do a check-in. And this is the check-in. It's very simple. 3 rules for success. Here we go. 3 rules. Number 1, stop the wrong trains. And by trains, we mean persons, places, things, and ideas. Okay, so what's one person we need to stop talking to? What's one place we need to stop going to digitally or geographically? Or for the hyperconscious podcast listeners of the original, geoglyphically. That was in our intro in the beginning. Do you still have it? The intro?
So the intro? I don't know if I still have it, but I could just download an old episode. I could make it happen.
We should bring it back for a intro or something at some point. Oh, it's brutal.
I could make it happen.
It was a really funny intro, but very not good. Earmuffs for the children's.
We'll do that when we...
Kevin may or may not swear several times.
I did swear several times, but we
bleeped it out. We bleeped it out, right?
We'll do that for... This podcast started in April of 2017. So April of 2023, we'll do it. We'll bring it back.
How many years will that be? 6?
6 years.
6 years. Wow.
It's wild.
Just getting started. Okay, so stop the wrong trains. And by wrong, I mean non-optimal. And I want to explain optimal really quickly. When Kevin says do the right thing, right? Okay, well, can you do the right thing in the right way, at the right time, for the right reason, with the right people, in the right amount? That's the thing. Like, it's like when you're cooking. Like, what's the right amount of butter? What's the right amount? There's an optimal amount of butter based on the outcome you want.
All of it.
All of the butter. Yeah,
Always.
Exactly. And so everything's an optimal stopping problem. I talk about it all the time. Goldilocks. Too much or too little. Everything. So is this too many episodes or too little episodes? Is this too much Alan talking or too little Alan talking? Is this too much tonality or too little tonality? Everything is that. And it all depends on the goal, the circumstance, the person. Okay, so number 1, stop the wrong trains. Number 2, start the right trains. Persons, places, things, and ideas. Number 3, never, ever lose momentum. One time I said that at a training and they actually took it literally. Like, wait, never lose momentum? No. I mean, when you fall off the horse, just get back on. And get back up quicker and better each time. Get back up quicker and better each time. Anyways, we do this check-in. And my whole point of this is this. Kevin, Christina, and I are always asking ourselves the tough question of, are we doing the optimal things? To Kevin's original point, sometimes the hard thing is the right thing. Sometimes the hard thing is the most optimal thing. And honestly, almost always. Emilia and I are coming up on, I don't even know, maybe 150 days in a row of gratitudes. Before that, we stopped for like 6 months. And then we realized the detriment of that. We regretted stopping. Because imagine being in a relationship where every single evening, Emilia and I, before bed, we say 3 things we're grateful for about each other that day. You wouldn't believe what that will do to your relationship. Now you're looking for all these wonderful things to be grateful for. I'm so grateful that you prepared the food for us. I'm so grateful that you made the bed. I'm so grateful that you took care of Tucker and Tariel when I was on a podcast with Kevin, even though Tucker's been barking. I'm joking. But like, you're looking for things to be grateful for. So that was a train we stopped, and we regretted stopping because it was not the optimal train to stop. And so, but you better believe when I'm exhausted and it's 11:30 at night and I've had a long day, the last thing I want to do is stay up later and come up with gratitudes and reflect on the day. But I know it's the right thing to do for us. It's what we've decided is optimal. And so sometimes the hard thing is the right thing. Kev, honestly, man, I'm starting to realize that the right thing is almost always the hard thing.
Mm.
And it's the thing that requires self-discipline. That's what I'll say. It's the thing that requires self-discipline. Most of what is good for you and for others and for the world that is virtuous and positive is hard or challenging. Most of what is bad for you is easy and fun. And I've done drugs, I've drank a lot of alcohol, I've had fun in the past, and I regretted a lot of it. And going to the gym, I don't regret, but it was always more difficult. It always took more self-discipline than staying up late and playing video games or drinking or whatever, right? Like vices and virtues. Everything is a vice or a virtue. A vice is an escape. A virtue is something that develops wholesome strength, and it's always harder.
I have come to a realization. I said this on a podcast the other day. A lot of things are unlayering for me. I said, I used to hear the phrase, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I used to think that's actually really cool. Like, I like that. That's good. I can get with that. No, I can't get with that anymore because and again, I love what I do. I love podcasting, right? I do. I love it. At one point, this was my dream, to be a professional, quote unquote, podcaster who just gets to do this. And we have a business now and it's awesome. Great. But it's still, there's days where I have to say to myself, okay, you got to go do the hard thing. You got to go do the hard thing. This morning, my alarm went off and I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. I do not want to do it today. I just want to relax. I want to sleep. But then I got up and I did the hard thing. And it's I don't know. It's one of those things where the problem is a lot of the delayed gratification is coming from the hard things that are the right things. That's really what it is. You don't always know that it's the right thing until you start getting the results, and then you reinforce that the hard thing is the right thing. And it's just like, that's why this success thing is such a challenge. But I wanted to just throw that out there where even in Alan and I's life, where we get to do what we love every day, it's still a series of choices of, okay, the easy thing would be, hey man, I have to cancel all my stuff today. I'm tired. The right thing is, hey man, I'm tired, so I need you to bring a little bit of extra energy. My Wi-Fi is jeffing again for some reason. We pay $200 a month for Wi-Fi. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm going to have to, you have to figure it out, I guess.
I'm Derek Smith, and I just wanted to talk to you real quick about group coaching. I found it to be very beneficial. The biggest thing that I got from it was definitely the tap out and keeping track of the daily habits. It's much easier to get these priorities done when it's scheduled. That way you know that you're doing them first compared to trying to fit them in later. So scheduling it and getting that done first and then having something accountable every single day to do those was definitely beneficial. So if you're thinking about giving group coaching a chance, you should definitely do it.
But that's all I want to get across by making that point is a lot of people, I think they're trying to convince you that everything should be easy. And I don't believe that. I cannot believe that. Because if it's easy, it's not forcing you to grow, just by definition. One episode a week for you and I would be very, very easy. 7 episodes a week is a challenge. Every week it's a challenge. Now, we'll never miss and we're going to get it done. And we have a great team behind us and we have a production team and everything's, that's super helpful. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge and it stretches us. But that's why we've grown so much. That's an important distinction, that you will not grow at the same rate if it's easy, because growth requires resistance. It just does. I am stronger than I used to be because I have put my body under more resistance. Now, is there too much resistance? Yes, you can get hurt. But again, I think most of us probably err under rather than over.
Yeah, I think all of us are more capable long-term than we can realize in any one moment because of the power of the compound effect. And no, everyone kind of knows, like, you're not going to get in great shape from easy workouts. And that's the way it works.
I know, but I don't know if everybody knows that.
Not everybody knows that?
No, I don't think so. I think if that was the case, then manifesting wouldn't be such a buzzword. Because I think for a lot of people, they think manifesting means... I was talking to Taryn. If you're on YouTube, you can see that I have a new Mercedes in the shot. It's a little smaller than I thought it was going to be. I'm not even going to fit in it. But
AMG GTR, son.
Yeah, AMG GTR.
$17.95, boss.
$17.95. I think it costs $25, something like that. But I told Taryn, I said, well, I want to have it in the office so it'll help me imagine it. It'll help me manifest it. And then I said, also, I work every single day. So that'll help me too. That'll help me manifest it also.
That will also help me do it.
But I just want, because I think for a lot of people, they think, again, we've done episodes on manifesting and we've interviewed people on manifesting. And I think oftentimes the action is left out. And
that's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part.
It's the most important part.
Yeah. We know a lot of people. We know people personally who have done different trainings and taken different courses for manifestation. And they realize very quickly that, like, oh, that's part of it, right? That's part of it. And emotionalizing it and believing in it. And that's all part of it. But there's a lot of stuff beyond that. So just to your point, Alan, I think there are a lot of people that think that things should be easy.
I think this is important because whenever Kevin hears me say something and then kind of challenges it, it's important for you to go deeper because that's a blind spot for me. Like, it's obvious you're not going to get in shape from easy workouts.
If that was the case, many of the products, like, 6-minute abs, that wouldn't exist.
I understand. Yeah, that's fair.
Right,
so go
right.
deeper. What do people need to know about this? What do our listeners need to know? That they're here because they want to get better. They want the truth. They would not be here otherwise. Yeah. What is
the results you long for are buried in the work you don't. That's it for me in a nutshell. It's instead of trying to find a way around or trying to find a shortcut. And again, I don't think our community, I think everybody falls victim to this in some way, shape, or form. You and I have talked about the banjo minnow and like being sold things that are supposed to bring a result that they don't. We've talked about that.
What was the banjo minnow, Kev, for our
new listeners? The banjo minnow was a TV ad.
Did you ever buy one, by the way?
I never bought one.
But you saw the ad. Yeah.
I saw the ad.
Yeah.
I didn't have a major credit card, so I couldn't.
You were convinced though, right?
Yeah, the banjo minnow was an infomercial of this fishing lure that was it looked so real. And their selling point was they would cast into a tank and they'd reel the fishing lure across and the fish would just go nuts. They were starving. They wanted it. They needed it. And Alan ended up buying it, and I think he caught one fish on it. So again, that's just an example. But this is the thought. Instead of buying the thing that makes your life easier or it makes you get the results easier, what could you do to increase your competence? I really think that's kind of the understanding. But I do think it's set up that way, Alan, where most people, they want the shortcut. And that's why these companies stay in business. That's the only reason they stay in business.
It's so interesting, though, because, and I know we got to go,
$1?
The shortcut, it's almost like if you're looking for a shortcut, you're in trouble. But there are some shortcuts that work. Let me give you an example. Google Sheets is how we run our business. That's a tool that helps us. Imagine if we were using pen and paper and like tracking our habits and the whole team. So having a tool is different than having a shortcut. You know what I mean? Like the banjo minnow, for example. I spent like $75 on that, by the way. Did you know that? And back then, this is like the 90s. So that's what's that, $150 now or something? I didn't have that kind of money back then, man. Seriously, I was shopping at Salvation Army for my clothing. I'm over there with the banjo minnow for $75. Anyways, there's a difference between a tool and a shortcut. I have wrist wraps that I use at the gym because I have these little wrists. You know, Kevin's got these massive forearms and he's got huge forearms. I don't have very naturally huge forearms. I got these big giraffe legs though that can run. But I use wrist wraps as a tool, but when I start becoming reliant on them, meaning when I don't use them, I can't actually do the weight, then that becomes a crutch. And so you don't want these Band-Aids or these shortcuts to take you to a place you can't sustain without them because now you're dependent on them. Versus you can use like imagine this, you hurt yourself and you use ibuprofen to lower the inflammation. But if you become dependent on ibuprofen, now all of a sudden you're never going to get back to full strength without it. And so at the end of the day, it's important to think of things as tools rather than shortcuts. I didn't buy an iPhone because I wanted my life to be easier. I bought an iPhone because it's a tool that will allow us to be more effective in less time. And I think that's the difference. I'm not going for easier. I'm going for better. And maybe that's a reframe that will help people.
Well, and sometimes better is easier in terms of, it's easier for you to use an iPhone because you don't have to learn an Android or whatever, right? Like there's a learning curve with that or whatever. I think the ultimate goal with it is understand that if somebody is selling it to you as super easy, there's most likely a downside to it. That's all I'll say. Okay, even this, like think of it this way. Okay, we have a production company where we do audio editing and video editing for podcasters. That's great. But there is a downside that you don't learn. You don't learn how to audio edit and video edit. If that's important to you, then that's a downside. If it's not important for you, then it's a savior. But even in that's a potential downside.
And we do make it ridiculously easy to start and grow a show.
That's what our business is built on.
You still have to record every week.
Yeah. It's easier because we're doing stuff that you don't know how to do, but you still have to show up. It's not like we can do it all for you.
Exactly.
We can't do the actual input of you showing up every week. That is a requirement. Do we make it easier? Yes. Is there still potential for you to miss out on opportunity to learn? Yeah. And that's my only point with that is, going to a personal trainer might make it easier, but you still have to go. And
you still have to learn from them so that you're not dependent on them.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
After that, what do you do? Right? After that, you have to figure out, when I'm done with this personal trainer, then what? Or maybe you're just going to have a trainer forever. Maybe that's it. But that's really the goal in this episode. It's just that frame of check in with your life. How often is the hard thing the right thing? And do you find yourself avoiding the hard thing because maybe this lesson hasn't landed for you yet? I've tried to do that more and more. Again, my question is, what would the best version of Kevin do? I've had that so often. Just every day. It's like, what would the best version of Kevin do? Kevin would just do this, and that's it. He would just do it. Cool. On to the next thing. Kevin would just do this. Just do it.
How many decisions have you made in the last 6 years based on that question, if you had to guess?
Oh, I don't know.
Thousands?
Yeah, probably. I think of it a lot. I try to think of it a lot because it helps me. It's like the best version of Kevin knows this. He knows the easy thing isn't going to lead him to the life he wants. I mean, I've done that, right? I've had that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't work.
It doesn't.
We've all tried that road. You try that road long enough, you'll regret it eventually.
Yeah.
I know we got to go, Kev, but I have one really powerful story. Super fast. Super fast.
No such thing in your vocab.
You don't know?
I do.
All right, yeah. I know. All right, and your Wi-Fi is jeffing too, by the way.
Take it easy.
The other day, Emilia and I, recycling's out front. Huge storm, lost power. Kevin and I were supposed to record. We didn't record. It's a whole thing. I look out so I'm up, right? Still sleepy eyes, and it's early for me, early 7. Tough life, someone has to live it. 7 a.m. And I go out and I look and I'm like, oh, damn. I look out in the front yard. Our recycling bins all are blown over, and the recycling is all littered all over our condo complex and all our neighbors' lawns. And by the way, all of their recycling is everywhere too. And so everything's astray. So what do? The right thing or the easy thing? Yeah, I do the right thing. I say, Kev, my power's out, brother. I can't do it. I get on my cold winter gear and my hat, and I talk to Emilia, and I say, sweetheart, we're trash collector today. This morning, we're going to be trash collectors. And so we went all across the whole neighborhood picking up trash, picking up the recycling. Now, could we have left that for everyone else to deal with? Of course we could have. Like, seriously, no one would have knocked on our door. No one would have, you're right, this isn't a short story. No one would have came and had an issue. We could have just pretended it wasn't ours, easily. Could have pretended it wasn't our trash. I would never do that. I would never, ever do that. And Emilia would never do that. It is our responsibility. We're not going to leave that for our neighbors to pick up. And that's a simple thing, but I'm telling you, I never take shortcuts like that. We are out there picking up trash because this is our recycling and this is our responsibility. Leaders take responsibility for their own life and for their own decisions when things go right and when things go wrong. And I just wanted to share that story because I think everyone can relate to, like, I don't want to do that. but you got to do it because it's the right thing. It's the hard thing. It's the integrous thing. It's the virtuous thing. So, okay.
It was a pretty long story
I know. That's fair.
in retrospect.
That's
Next
But it was
level.
the right thing to do.
Yes, it was the right thing to do. Next level nation. If you are listening to this, it is Monday. No, it is Sunday. Yeah, it is Sunday. As of Tuesday, our 9th round of group coaching will be off. We're starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be square. If you haven't signed up and you want to, please check out our website, because if the application is still up there, we have openings. We are already more than halfway filled. It will fill up for sure. So if you want in on this round, please join. If not, you're going to have to wait 3 months, and you're going to be a quarter of the way through the year. So let's build momentum now.
8 groups in a row. Full teams of 10.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Round 9. Round 9, I can promise you, will be better than the previous 8 groups because we keep getting better every day. Also, speaking of getting better every day, or every week in this case, book club, Essentialism, Greg McKeon. Every Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are reading a book together. There are 5 more sessions on this book specifically. If you want 2023 to be different, this is the quote. The disciplined pursuit of less, but better. Meaning less persons, less things, less ideas, but doubling down on the important ones. If there's one book that's changed my life, this is one of the top 3 right here. I always have these 3 books behind me. Compound Effect, Essentialism, and the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. This one's always on my person, so it's not behind me right now. It's right in front of me. But Essentialism is a genuinely life-changing book, and we hope to see you there.
Next level nation tomorrow for episode number 1204. You can't find the solution until you know the real problem. I know Alan will enjoy that episode very much. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
And we'll see you at the next level.